The province of Ontario is Canada's most populated province with about 12.6 million people. Most people live in the south in the fertile Great Lakes St. Lawrence lowlands. It is a beautiful province covered with forests and over 250,000 lakes. The central Muskoka Cottage region and Algonquin Provincial Park are especially popular wilderness recreational areas. Another popular destination, especially for scenic boat cruises, is the beautiful Thousand Islands recreational area located around Gananoque, where the St. Lawrence River begins. Canada's capital city, Ottawa, is located on the Ottawa River, which forms part of Ontario's eastern boundary with Quebec. The city of Ottawa has a population of about 880,000. The National Capital Region, which includes Ottawa and Gatineau, Quebec, has many museums, most notably the Canadian Museum of Civilization and the Canadian War Museum. Ottawa is also home to the National Gallery of Canada, which features the work of both Canadian and international artists. The Grand Fairmont Chateau Laurier is one of the city's premier hotels. On Parliament Hill, 3 Gothic Revival-style buildings stand on a 170-foot bluff overlooking the Ottawa River. They house the offices of the Members of Parliament, the House of Commons, and the Senate. Guided tours of the Centre Block delve into Canadian history and explain the workings of the political system. The Ceremonial Guard of the Canadian Forces brings stirring military drills and music to Parliament Hill once every day during the summer, with a changing of the guard ceremony. Adjacent to Parliament Hill is Spark Street Mall, a heritage shopping and dining street. The Byward Market is a traditional farmers market surrounding a 2-story building of boutiques, bistros, and restaurants. Canada's largest city and Ontario's capital is Toronto. Toronto is the 5th largest city in North America, stretching 43 kilometers along the north shore of Lake Ontario, covering 641 square kilometers. There are 2.8 million people living in the city, 5 million in the Greater Toronto Area, and 11 million living within a 2-hour drive. Architecturally, Toronto's downtown offers incredible contrasts, from gleaming skyscrapers to brick historical buildings. The Fairmont Royal York Hotel opened in 1929. The CN Tower is Canada's national tower, and at 553 meters tall, it is the world's tallest freestanding tower. The tower is a national landmark that is visited by about 2 million people from all over the world each year. Toronto is home to Canada's largest museum, the Royal Ontario Museum. The Toronto Zoo is Canada's largest zoo and one of the city's most popular attractions. Casa Loma is a medieval-style castle open to the public that was constructed at great expense in 1911 by Canadian financier, industrialist, and military man Sir Henry Pillatt. Ontario Place is a huge family fun park located on the lakeshore. One of the best ways to get around and get to know the city is by taking a jump-on and jump-off open-top double-decker sightseeing bus. Toronto Hippo Tours takes visitors to Toronto's major landmarks in a bus that floats. The water portion of the tour takes passengers through Ontario Place.
So that's how we do it. We are now a boat.
Historic Black Creek Pioneer Village is a journey back in time to a typical crossroads community found in the Toronto area during the 1800s. Just a short drive north of Toronto, near Kleinburg, is the world-famous McMichael Canadian Art Collection. The galleries consist of almost 6,100% Canadian artworks by the famous Group of Seven, their contemporaries, Tom Thomson, First Nations, and Inuit artists. Less than 2 hours drive west of Toronto is Canada's top tourist attraction, Niagara Falls. The falls is located on the beautiful Niagara River, which flows 58 kilometers north from Lake Erie to Lake Ontario through the Great Gorge. At the city of Niagara Falls, the flow of the river is split by Goat Island into two separate spillways, creating two large, beautiful waterfalls, one on the American side of the river and the other on the Canadian side, called the Horseshoe Falls. It is the larger and higher Horseshoe Falls that receives most of the attention. The Horseshoe Falls is an average 57 meters high, accounting for half the elevation drop from Lake Erie to Lake Ontario. The crest line of the Canadian Horseshoe Falls is 670 meters wide. The height of the American Falls ranges from 21 to 34 meters before reaching a talus slope of huge fallen rocks that were deposited by a massive rock slide in 1954. It's a romantic spot, which attracts about 50,000 honeymooners each year. The beauty and power of the falls can be experienced from many surrounding public lookout points, especially the Table Rock at the very edge of the falls. There are more spectacular views from the Skylon Tower, the journey behind the falls, and Niagara helicopter tours. The Maid of the Mist is the area's longest standing tradition and most popular way to get up close to the falls. The Niagara River Gorge is as exciting as the falls. The Whirlpool Aero Car takes visitors over the largest whirlpool in the world. Niagara Falls is far more than a natural phenomenon. The city has many fun, exciting attractions like Clifton Hill, Bird Kingdom, Butterfly Conservatory, and of course, Marineland, one of the area's largest and longest running favorites. East along the Niagara Parkway from Niagara Falls is Niagara on the Lake, one of Ontario's most hospitable and attractive towns. No visit to Niagara on the Lake is complete without a tour of the venerable Fort George National Historic Site of Canada. It was a key fortress in the War of 1812 when the fledgling United States Army fought British loyalists for the new lands that would become Canada.